Hola, bienvenidos a todos. Welcome everybody. This assignment video is for the La Cultura de Cuba, the culture of Cuba. All right, this is our Cuban flag right here. Um, Cuba is a fairly important island, 90 miles south of the Florida Keys, the United States. It comes into play a couple of times that we're going to look at here in the next couple of days. So here are the topics you're going to write on. Okay, again, with all of our culture assignments, these first 6 are the same. Okay, and these last 3 change depending on what country we're writing about, and specifically kind of what we're looking at specifically about that country. Okay, again, founding. All right. I had a lot of people the last time we did this that just did it way wrong. Don't forget, you can always go back and rewatch the video if you're not sure what you're supposed to write about on each slide. So, founding is who lived there and when did they get there. Christopher Columbus does arrive in Cuba in the late 1590s. But he was not the only one there. There were people who lived there before him. So who lived there before Columbus? How many survived after Columbus left? Not many. And then the Spanish show up, obviously, and then there's another large culture shift in the country of Cuba when we talk about that we'll definitely get into when we talk about salsa dancing, but Cuba was very integral in the American slave trade during the pre-Civil War times. And so you have a blending of Hispanic culture, Western culture, and African culture. And so there's lots of people to write about. Population, how many people live there? Where do they live? Do they all live in cities? Do they all live in little villages? Right. Climate. What is the difference between climate and weather is, right, today it was cold, right? It's December 14th, right? It was like, woke up this morning, it was like low 30s, wind chill in the 20s, just chilly, right? Now, climate for Fort Worth, Texas is in the winter, it's highs and, lows in the 30s ish. It's generally kind of a north wind, and temperatures in the 40s or 50s. Okay, so that's climate versus weather. Weather is what's happening today. Climate is big picture. So do they have a lot of different seasons? Do they have a rainy season? They definitely have a hurricane season. They're in the Gulf of Mexico. Touchdown Cleveland Browns. All right. Sorry. And then, right, so climate. Geography. There's a massive one that you can't miss. It is an island. It's a very large island, but it is an island. So what about the geography? Do we have lots of rainforests and jungles? Do we have mountains? Do we have volcanoes? Like, what's going on? The economy, what do they do? And what do they sell? This is going to be a little thin on Cuba, just because, you'll see. People don't get to choose there in Cuba, which leads us to government. Government has a very interesting history in Cuba. So what kind of government are they? Who is the leader? How did that leader get into power? Like, was he elected? He wasn't elected. Right? So, like, what, who has the power and who gets to make all the choices, and how did they get that power? All right. So our 3 for Cuba specifically, Fidel Castro. We cannot get around this guy in talking about Cuba. Massive social leader, brought communism into Mexico, into Cuba. Sorry. tried to overthrow the government once, got shut down, and came back again and did it. So Fidel Castro, massive player in the history of Cuba. The Cuban Missile Crisis. This is a huge historical event that everybody should probably know about. So the Cuban Missile Crisis. Who were the big players? And it wasn't Cuba, right? This was during the Cold War. So this is a massive, massive thing. This is the closest we've ever been to all-out nuclear war. And it was before we were alive. Most of the people watching this video, before I was alive. And then the last one, a little more upbeat, salsa, the dancing style, not the stuff you put on chips. So it's Cuban influence. Who influenced it? Because it's not just the Cubans and the Hispanics, right? The African rhythms, the African instruments come into play big time with like your Caribbean dances. So your salsa dance. So big influences, its history, kind of stuff like that. Who's big in it now, right? It is a very popular style of dance. So that is the culture of Cuba. If you have any questions, by all means, please contact me. I would love to help you out. And I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy this assignment. Thank you.